Hello again, guys, and welcome back for a third part of building confidence and overcoming self doubt within our own personal capacity, realm of possibility. Now, we've talked about how important it is to find something we are good at, or we have the potential to be very good at it, and something we are passionate about. Because this will not only make us stand out, but it will make us enjoy what we're investing our time and energy and vulnerability into. And when I say vulnerability, I mean the kind of exposure that usually goes together hand in hand with doing something and deciding to invest into something, your personal time, your energy, and to bring it to the forefront in your life and maybe focus on it as much as you possibly can. Because I understand we all have our own limitations, realistic possibilities, and obstacles. But perhaps now you're at a point where you have found a thing or two or three or more that you enjoy doing, trying, pursuing, investigating, building up a bit, discovering. But you have bumped into the hurdle of fear and or failure. Some negative speed bump, that is, and a very uncomfortable one, unfortunately. And it can even feel extremely off-putting. It can make us want to shut ourselves back into our bubble, back into our comfort, or maybe even discomfort, but routine and grayness and whatever trap that is holding us back from, participating in our passions and talents. However, once again, I bring no magical solutions or incredible pieces of advice, not a mental health professional or anything like that, just a person curious about other persons and, just trying to get through some hardships and maybe inspire at least the tiniest sparks of overcoming similar problems in other people's lives. And so here I am, and for today's video and for this particular tool or idea, I want to suggest the gentle focus on proactivity. And by that I mean coming back to the activity you've chosen and trying it a little bit at a time over and over again. Pretty much trying to ignore your feelings about it or the warning signs as long as they're not physically hurting you or somebody else, or as long as you don't feel like they are mentally damaging. They maybe feel uncomfortable, they maybe feel like they are putting you down and putting you in a bit of a bad mood, which is why I'm suggesting to try gently, facing this and overcoming this by doing the same thing that you have already chosen and coming back to it and remembering that feeling might not necessarily go away for a very long time, and staying patient, right? Understanding that the fear and dissatisfaction on not having done something to quite your standard or feeling like you failed in a certain sense, that those are a crucial part of the process. And you may be a more sensitive person or a person that sees negatives in themselves, that critiques themselves harshly. Maybe you really look at yourself in a darker, more critical, negative light, But even if you aren't, regardless of how high your threshold for, seeing this negativity and projecting this negativity onto your actions, or just observing the results and feeling very rational about it, Nevertheless, it's there, and it's going to happen again. And it might happen, it probably will happen sooner or later, even had you picked the most, I don't know, perfect person, if there was such a thing, and the ability or skill or activity that they are most perfect and suitable for, because we're sort of looking, for that activity, that path that will really allow us to grow and show the world, and especially ourselves, what we are capable of, what we are driven about, what it is that brings out, the best in us, the most colorful, vivacious, determined sense of self. And that's what I'm sort of hoping to help you guys find, or motivate you to find it, because my role here on YouTube, I think it's very little, but even if it's little, I would be happy if there's anything positive about it. So that's my hope here. And I have had my own doubts going into this video, and I will have doubts going into some future videos. I'm certain of it. And I may not be the best for this kind of content. Like I said in my earlier or other videos, I'm not a mental health professional, and this is just some sort of an amateur interest for me, but it is important to me. And I have to face certain fear and failure or dissatisfaction with my own possibilities or results, or output. And that's what I'm trying to stress in this video for you too, is just a certain acceptance. On some level, it might sound like absolutely stupid advice. Maybe on some level it is. But accepting that the negative aspects and feelings will stick around, including the fear, including the doubt or feeling of failure. And I'm not saying there aren't ways to work on that, and perhaps I will create a video about that one day, or you will find some far better content creators or mental health professionals or books that will actually help you identify this. But I kind of want to point out that it's okay and it's natural to some degree, some extent, to have this in our life. And if possible, please try to focus on doing what you are doing. Or if it feels unnatural, unauthentic, and like you're bringing yourself further away from your end goals and talents, then okay, start pursuing something different. Switch between the activities that you have chosen, or find something else to focus on. But the focus of this video is on some sort of activity, and hopefully in a somewhat gentle amount and with a gentle approach. And the reason I'm putting emphasis on gentle is because that way I think it's more likely we will keep doing it for a longer amount of time. If we are pushing ourselves, to a breaking point, well, maybe you can take it, maybe that is the path for you. But I think for a lot of us that struggle with a stable and positive sense of self, for a lot of us that feel like even a smaller fluctuation or obstacle mentally and physically can play a very large role in what we do next and whether we stick to our path and how we feel about ourselves. I think going all out, or pushing too hard when you feel like there are a lot of things that hinder you emotionally and that get under your skin and that just somewhat keep growing, then taking a little bit of time to process that, maybe accept that a little bit, or work on it in whatever way you see fit. So maybe you don't have to keep feeling that way in the long run, or even short run, if you're capable of really working with these emotions and working through them. Then still, I think the ability and moderation to do what you're pursuing with a little bit of distance, you know, the ability to step back a little bit, cool off, rest, maybe try out something different, then revisit what you were doing earlier, but still keep it um, within your range of active options and pursuits. I think that can be a pretty healthy mode for us more sensitive types, susceptible to, you know, negative responses and feelings. So that is the idea of this video. We're already sort of imagining at this point that we have um, decided to find and pursue a hidden passion and talent. We have been pursuing it. We've tried something and to make some crucial steps in that direction. And then we found the hurdles of fear and failure, and nonetheless remained in pursuit, conscious, active, sometimes taking larger breaks, sometimes taking smaller breaks, but not being too harsh on ourselves and still sticking to our chosen direction. Best of luck, guys.